Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Yes. Timothy Ward in the house. Welcome, guys. Sorry, I forgot I had myself muted. I was technical difficulties. I have a guest, but they haven't shown up yet. So I'm not really sure. But hope y'all are doing good. I got Jeff Morris, Timothy Ward in the house. Uh, happy Sunday. Happy Sunday to you too, bud. So what's going on with y'all? Who else we got? I sent out a few links, but nobody has come yet. But I haven't streamed in a while. It's been probably 2 months since the last time I streamed, and I just wanted to get on here, talk to some friends, see what's going on, show off some stuff that I got recently, which is on this back table. And yeah, just having some fun. Let's see the cars while we wait. All right. Well, which one do you want to look at first? The Ghost Rider car? Let me put this down here. This thing is awesome. And it's so big. Whole purpose about this is so I could customize it into the Ghost Rider car. I'll get to the general. I was waiting on I got Kato supposed to be here, but he's got the general too, so I was waiting on him. So, but yeah, I am loving this car. Who else got this? Any of y'all got this car or the other one? Let's see what we got. So the general, we'll show that one in a minute. Glad the Ramen Racers came out good. They did. They really are really good. I did not put any batteries in them or plugs or anything. So I may one day. I don't know. Not a priority for me. Ted, Drew G, is that you? Where have you been? I know I've been gone for 2 months. I've been busy. I have been reorganizing once again the toy room as well as the other toy room in there, and trying to get it ready to do a new updated toy room tour. I've been waiting on these cars and the Vanguards to get here, and once I do that, I plan on starting to I don't know, start filming. I'm trying to debate whether to film it all and then release one big one and then put clips, or do clips and then release it as one big one afterwards. I don't know. Chad, what's up, bud? Where are you at? I sent you a link. And Jeff Morris says, I passed on the ramen cars. I am mostly a Star Wars and Joe collector. I am tempted to get the ramen tank, but have not ordered it yet. Yes, I did. I was the opposite. I'm more, I mean, as you can see, I have everything here. GIJoe, Star Wars, Transformers, Marvel Legends, all of it. Valiverse, obviously. Right up there. But I wanted those cars. But the tanks are tempting. It's just space. I mean, if he made a Knight Rider kit car, I might would buy that. but it's got to hit my nostalgia button for me to display it, because that's mainly why I display stuff. Other than Valaverse stuff, I keep pointing here, but it's over here. I don't know why I keep doing that. Yeah, look at your chat. You sent me a short, and it was right before that. Let me try to get home running errands. George Aikens in the house. Hey, what's up, bud? Jeff Moore says, I consider Joe and Action Force as the same. I collect them both. Yeah, I collect both too. As you can see, all here and below is GIJoe, and then up here is 1/18. And then above that is all Valaverse. And well, I mass send shorts and memes. Oh, so it's not personal? Oh, I thought it was personal. I thought all those love memes and stuff were just for me. Oh, heartbroken. Ted says GIJoe has 2 toy rooms. Actually, I got technically 4. If you count my office, which is packed to the gill too. Drew, have you considered becoming a hella dope warehouse? I only have 1 toy room and a bathroom and a kitchen and living room. I'm expecting divorce papers any day now. Yeah, I have no room. No, I really do. I have this room. If you go back and watch my original 4 toy room tours, it's this room. I have over there. I did 2 videos of that room over there and split it in 2. And then I added the other room to this 3rd video because it's a smaller room with mostly comics and storage, but it has some stuff in it, so I showed it. And then the 4th video was my office at work, which has a lot of my, well, it doesn't in the video before, but now it has a lot of my WWE and AEW, WCW wrestling figures, as well as movie Ninja Turtles, Godzilla, Star Wars Black Series, and MCU Marvel movie figures. So, and yeah. So, Jeff says, cheers, Chad, George, Ted, and Timothy. Moo. KJ Smith in the house. Up, peeps. George Aikens. How you, Jeff? I'm a little behind, sorry. Oh, y'all just telling each other good. 13th Prince in the house. Good afternoon. If I don't love you, I wouldn't send the memes. True. George says, according to legend, I have a Narnia wardrobe where I store my Palatoy Action Force. I've thought about doing that to the door to this room. It's having like either a wardrobe or a some kind of secret door to come into it, but maybe a Han Solo and Carbonite that you can open up and come inside. I don't know. Big, little expensive, but might be fun. George, you definitely, bleh. George, you definitely have a magical wardrobe to Palatoy Land. That's the truth. You know you do. Keith Knight, hi Drew in chat. Curse of Fenrir, Fenrir. I can't talk today. This is why I need guests. Hanging with Drew. Can never have too many shadow tracks. That door entrance is a cool idea. All right. I forgot what I was gonna say. Can't tell if I'm getting messages from. Oh. Yeah, I don't know where Kato is. Kato is supposed to be here. He must be on a Sunday siesta. Overslept. I don't know. Chad's got the link. Ted, if you want a link, you let me know. I'll send you one. I haven't had you on my stream yet. So anyway. So yeah, I created the Ghost Rider Robbie Reyes car, and because I was one of the first whatever backers, I don't remember how many, I got a Robbie Reyes head sculpt that Ace sent me. So I started looking online, and I found, I think it's called Jacob's Toys on YouTube. He did a video using a Power Rangers in space body and just added white paint. It was completely black already. I changed out the gloves and turned the belt around, painted it, cut the gun holster off, and painted the white lines on there with some Gundam markers, and used the Ghost Rider in space, or whatever you call him, Cosmic Ghost Rider, his whip just for now. And it turned out really good. Not my favorite Ghost Rider head, but it's grown on me. I never really, honestly, I've never really read the Robbie Reyes comics. I loved his take in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That half of the season that he was in was some of the best Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. in my opinion. But the comics, I have like a couple of them, but I've never really delved deep into them. But I just always thought that car looked awesome. I don't know why they haven't done that in the past, but yeah, it works well. So yeah, I want to say it was Jacob's Toys. If you are curious, see if I can get him to pose again. There you go. What's my opinion on the Vanguard? I'm excited. I got 2 on the way. I kind of wish I were able to switch the tan one for a muddy tan one, because I just only have so much room. But I don't know. It looks really good with the mud on it. I'm excited. I'm supposed to get them Wednesday, both of them, either Wednesday or Thursday. So they're going to go up there. I got a WWE truck right there that I'm going to put the tan one at. And then there's a bunch of figures. I've been trying to reorganize these and making space for the Vanguards to go. But yeah, I have a way. I'm going to set them up a certain way for each, and I'm debating getting the muddy one and then swapping it out with the other one, and then just holding on to that other one for now. I don't know. But yeah, I'm totally excited about them. When it comes to vehicles, though, other than, I mean, obviously I'm buying them right here. I prefer the 1/18 scale for vehicles, and 1/12 scale for details and posing and stuff like that. And so I collect both, but when you get a vehicle this big, it's hard to collect a bunch. My wife's about to be home, or else I would. She can't know about my shenanigans. My wife's upstairs watching a movie. Let's see. Curse of Fenrir. Yeah, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Ghost Rider was amazing. Yeah. Yeah, I like that look better than I did the comic version. Um, that metallic skull. I mean, it's grown on me. I think it looks pretty good in toy form. I think it was more the way they were drawing him. I just didn't really like. But that car was awesome. And I hated that the Engine of Vengeance didn't fund, but I'm also glad it didn't because um, it was obvious they were trying to rip us off. And having the option to customize, and I say customize because I mean this thing. If you didn't get, let me get this out of the way. Sorry. Um, if you didn't get this car, like it's very customizable. Like you can take, if I wanted to display it like that, you can do that. You can take all this off. You can make the lights shine through. You can take this whole thing off and make different fronts and backs. Make different cars. You can make the car from Fast and Furious. You can just do all kinds of stuff. You don't have to have the flame effects. It's very cool. Now the orange one, it's the same. You can change it out, make it different kinds of cars, but it's orange, and you kind of know what you're going for with this. But you didn't have to have the stickers. Um, so let's shut it off. Tim wanted to see this earlier, so I did the stickers myself, which I'm glad I did because I heard that he messed up on the General Lee and put it in the middle because someone in the comments said it, and I remember seeing that and going, "That's not right." Um, but I had already requested to have the stickers myself. What was funny though is when I put them on, the little plastic you're supposed to like push it on there and then take it off, and the I didn't know that, so I just had the plastic on there. I'm like, this is a cool. And then Ace released that video showing the um, how to do it, and I went, ah. So yeah. So this car's only been on display the proper way for a couple of days now. But yeah, I was able to match up best I could. I debated whether or not to put the racing flag and the rebel flag um, up here because that's only in like a couple of episodes and then they got rid of it. But it adds to the car and I like it. I used to have all these little Matchbox cars and the play sets when I was little. I loved this show growing up. But yeah, turned out really good. Again, I don't have the battery, so I don't have the sound effect or anything in it. I've only had them like less than a week, so it looks very nice. Yeah, it does. Every now and then, when I'm up in Covington, which is only like 45 minutes away to an hour, um, they'll have a General Lee sitting out there, and most of the time it's usually the police car that comes through. Oh, one that looks like this. They'll have a real car like this with Hazard County on it, but most of the time it's the Salvatore's cars from Vampire Diaries that are sitting out there because that's the most popular thing right now with the area. The Covington Square, if you didn't know, has filmed the Dukes of Hazzard, In the Heat of the Night, and Vampire Diaries. And I think My Cousin Vinny, but that was in a lot of different areas around me that was filmed. So, but I go up there probably at least once a month and eat on the square and stuff. So it's pretty cool. On the other side of the I-20, like if you're going on the road, there's I-20 is the main road, and Covington, you go through Covington, and south of it right off of I-20 is the city of Covington where they did the filming. But if you go just north of it on a little road, there's a church just sitting off in the distance. And that church was the original boar's nest before they rebuilt it in California. So it's pretty cool to see. It looks just like the boar's nest, except all the stuff around it's gone and has a church sign. Jeff says I have the Tan Vanguard coming next Friday. Yeah. What'll probably happen is when I go to Joe Fest, if I have the money and I haven't bought a bunch of Praetorian guards, I'll probably end up buying the Muddy Vanguard. Took me a while to realize it had hubcaps. What, the Ramen Racer, or which one are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the little black pieces on here? Yeah, I originally put the Ghost Rider ones, the silver not Ghost Rider, the black Ramen Racer cars on there first, and I went, this isn't right. Something looks off. So I started looking up pictures like, wait, they're not, it's supposed to be black. And then I found the pictures on there. I don't know where Kato is. Oh well. The one day people are not addicted to their phones and don't see messages. So, but yeah, so yeah, I'm loving these cars, and I need to figure out a way to create the Duke Boys. And I was thinking about, like, there's a couple of places that have head sculpts, but I apologize, my cat is going crazy. I hate when he does that. Sorry, I ADD'd. How well does the Dixie horn work? I have not put batteries in, Scott. Welcome. But I haven't put batteries in. I've heard it on so many other people's channels, and I think it sounds great over the speakers. So I haven't bought the batteries for it yet or anything. So I just have it displayed. It's late. Oh. What's up, Jason? Anyway, what I was saying is the Duke Boys heads. I've seen a couple of customizers who make the Duke Boys, but they look almost a little. They're not painted, so it's hard to tell, but they look almost a little cartoonish. And I'm like, do I want to spend the money and then try to paint up a cartoonish looking head? It's not that they don't look good, but then you got to find the bodies. And right now I'm thinking if I could find a couple more of those Legacy Wolverines that they released as Logan in the blue jeans, I could use those for the, from the waist down. And then I need to find two, I don't know, button-up shirts. I was thinking maybe a couple of shipwrecks, but his sleeves are rolled up really high, so I'm not sure if I want to use that one. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Any ideas? No ideas. Okay. Let me put it on the screen. Could use the whole Wolverine body and do a cloth goods shirt. Well, that's an idea. That is an idea. Yeah. I didn't even think about that. I'd have to find somebody to that makes those. Probably won't be too hard. George Aiken says, "What scale?" It's 1/12. It's the for this. It's basic Marvel Legends size Action Force size. So next up, show off. I got Death's Head. This was sent to me by Laser Pants. He got from the con. So really appreciative. Laser Pants. It's really cool. Just not sure whether to display him in my Transformers set or with the Marvel Legends. But I do have Death's Head too also, so right now he's kind of sitting with him. But I don't know. I'm up for a change maybe. I don't know. Did any of you get Death's Head? Do you care about Death's Head? Any Transformers fans? Drew is a Laser Pants shill, confirmed. Always. I'm also a Chad shill too. I can't even say it. Chad shill. Shad chill. Chad shit. You know what I mean. Until you skip my chats. I want Death's Head, but didn't get the figure. Oh, you want him, but didn't get the figure. Hella Dope might still have some. Ted, do y'all still have some in stock if you're still here? It's a good figure. Ted says rad because I'm a Drew shell. Appreciate it, bud. 13th Prince. I was able to get Death's Head from Pulse during the Once a Man fiasco. Yeah, I didn't even bother with Once a Man. I don't. It's not if I get him. I mean, I'll pick him up. I don't want to pay that much, and it's not as big a deal to me. All that. I don't know, movie quality, like, how do I say this? I'll do this. I like that GIJoe. I don't mind all the costumes and everything, and I don't even mind the sci-fi elements and mystical elements and stuff, but I don't know. It felt like it just changed after that. Like, it's not that I'm against it. It's just not my preference, if that makes sense. Like the what is it? What was it? Nemesis Enforcer or whatever. The whole Viper Island crap started over. I had no desire to get that figure. Again, if he's cheap, I'll buy him. I'll display him. He's part of the GIJoe lore, so I don't know. Timothy says it's Chad and chill. Ted says Death's Head is pre-order, still in stock, but not technically here. Okay, cool. Yeah, give Hella Dope your money instead of Pulse if you do want a figure. He's gonna have stock, so might as well get it from him. Jason says, been a fan of Death's Head version 1 ever since its debut back in the 80s. Yeah, I remember him in the Transformer comics growing up. Jeff Morris. My screen froze for a second. I don't know what happened. I hate Cobra Law, so not sad I didn't get the silly once a man Coco. Yeah, I don't know. It's part of the lore. I don't hate it. It looks good as a figure. It's just not a priority. What's my next big purchase? Probably whatever I end up buying at Joe Lana from Bobby. If I get a Vanguard or I don't know. I don't really have a big purchase that I'm looking forward to. I don't think. There's a couple things I want. I've been avoiding the HasLabs lately, so last one I got coming is the Giant Man. So hope to get that one soon. Ted, I'm pre-ordering Death's Head from you guys. Awesome. Very cool. Yeah, I need to look. I got an email recently from you guys, Ted. I need to see what else you got in stock. I am trying not to buy anything big for a while. Yeah, I went through my Hasbro. I do a lot of Hasbro Pulse pre-orders, and I just went through there, and I swear I deleted like half of them. I was like, it. One reason is Hasbro is horrible about hitting you all at once. And if you try to budget this stuff out, like I used to could be able to budget it out based on their release dates. But they were going like 2-3 months ahead of time and going, hey, we're shipping it now. And I was going, holy crap, stop. I just had like $400 come out of my account. If you get like one big thing and then a wave of 5 figures and then another big thing, I mean, it was like too much at once. I was getting hit daily. I think I took a picture and sent it in one of the groups I'm in of just all up until that point in July of what Hasbro had sent me just in that month. And it filled this table completely. It was ridiculous. The only HasLab I ordered was the Ghost. Yeah, that thing looked good, but again, space is an issue. And there's so much older stuff that I really want to go back and get, but I feel like I don't have the money to do it because I'm always playing catch up on the new stuff, and it costs so much money. Yeah. Cheers to Jason. Drew, there's plenty in stock. I'm buried in it. Your next big purchase could be live on stream. Looks like I have a Chad in the stream.
Everyone needs a Chad in their life, my friend. How are you?
Always. What's up, bud?
Nothing. Doing chores, doing errands, things like that. And now I'm done. So here I be. Good to see you.
Good to see you too. Oh, we got Ramen in the chat. What's up, Drew?
Oh, Ace.
What's up, Ace? Yeah, I was showing off your vehicles.
Yeah. I can't say if I'm going to be here for 20 minutes or the duration, but either way, we're hanging out. So
hey, I'm glad to have you, man.
Yeah, it's good to hang out.
Let me see if I miss anything. I only pre-order stuff what I pay up front on, so I know when the money leaves the bank account. That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah,
I try to budget it out with pre-orders, but
it always
not
sucks
making that easy anymore.
the ma'am gets on me because we'll talk about something and I'll pre-order it, and then however long later, many months, the money comes out and she's like, "You're just randomly buying stuff," and I'm like, "Babe, that's that stuff that I pre-ordered like last year." Oh,
But they
yeah,
came out
it
now.
sucks. And I gotta say, starting to see some cracks in a lot of these Kickstarter models, with Marauder Gunrunners, Nom stuff, and the
Yeah, I hate
Skeletron
that 'cause
Robo
Marauder's
Skull
been
Mark
around for a
II.
while.
Yeah, Marauder Nom has been 3 years and change. Yeah. June 2021.
And I love seeing them at conventions and stuff. I always buy their stands. Like I love their stands. They have one for 1/18 scale and one for 1/12.
Yeah.
And I just pose it so it can literally stand. I can do that with
Looks
it.
like he's wearing swim fins. He's wearing flippers.
It makes for cool posing figures as long as the ankles work out.
Classified aren't known for their balance. So.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hasbro products of the 1/12 scale are not known for their balance.
And they're all kind of based on the same, I don't want to say buck, right? Because that's not necessarily accurate, but they're all based on the same underlying design, frame, structure.
Yeah.
It's all good, right? Like what you like. So.
I love the skeleton structure of Hasbro figures. It's just I wish they would do something to strengthen those ankles for
even with that brutal ab crunch. You like that?
No, I don't like that. I don't.
Well, okay,
I don't
so we're
mind
talking
it as much when they reverse it.
Yeah.
When they reverse it, it's not as bad, but
right.
But that no. And I don't like when it cuts at the waist where it's like usually Spider-Man has that issue where like you go to turn his waist where he's like this and like here I'll just find one. Hold on.
Hey, what's up? It's just me and you guys now.
I'm right here.
Oh,
I'm just off screen.
It's still just me and you guys. Don't worry about the guy who's off camera. Oh, there he is.
Damn it. Pay no attention to the guy behind the curtains. Okay, this old Spider-Man, you go to turn him. I hate that.
When did that? And look at oh man, those pins, those hinge pins, they're like eye cancer. When did that figure come out?
That one probably 2019, maybe 2020. I don't remember. This one I just got, and it's got the reversed, but he doesn't turn at the waist. He turns at the chest.
I like that. Yeah, I like that.
Still,
I call it under boob articulation.
Right, but I mean you can't get a waist turn, which I love. What Bobby did with Fallibers, where he has the both parts, where you can like really get a range of movement. Yeah. But I don't know. I don't hate this, but yeah.
See, I think that, and I'm going to talk 118 because that's me, right? That's my deal.
It's the Lord scale.
It is the Lord scale, but I think that there's a balance between.
But
what?
The 1/12 is the people's scale.
No, it's only the people scale because they're only fed bologna sandwiches, and it was like, I like bologna sandwiches.
True.
And here's the thing. The only company that's turned its back, for the most part, not entirely, on 118 scale is Hasbro. That's it. There are more, and you collect 118. There are more 118 offerings, newer designs, new characters, new lore now than there's ever been before. So anyone who says 118 is dead is just biased as shit. Anyway,
I agree.
So I think there's kind of a balance between, right? This is the These are the new Joy Toy figures. Shameless plug to Hella Dope Toys, right?
Nice.
So this
good.
has a lot of articulation, but it even has toe articulation. Do you need that? I don't think you need that. And then there's this guy, right? Not Baron Ironblood, aka Crimson Moon from Fresh Monkey Fiction, right? Has all the articulation, doesn't articulate like garbage.
Right.
So there's that balance. I mean, the only thing that this figure is lacking that a Legends has is butterfly shoulders. Like, that's it.
Yeah, I don't feel like a 1/18 needs hyper articulation unless it's like a Spider-Man or something like that where you can get him in really good, cool poses.
Well, and it takes away from, I feel it takes away from the art. Give me a second. My dog's spazzing out.
No, you're fine. So it's my cat. Let me get to the chat. Scott says, Drew, check your message. Found 112 Dukes. Oh, cool. I'll check on that as soon as the stream's over or maybe during it. I don't know. We'll find out. Let me get to the chat first, though. Roman says, the usual suspects in the house. I apologize for the cat. He does this from time to time. The 13th Prince says, I really wanted to get the HasLab Godfire Convoy. Unfortunately, I missed the deadline. I wish Hasbro just made it pre-order exclusive, not a HasLab. Yeah, another one of those figures that should have been a main line. It's a Optimus Prime. I mean, it would have sold plenty of them. I mean, the Transformers community buys everything. I mean, just take a look on my back wall. And I have tons in boxes that I've had to put away just for aesthetic reasons because I just don't have this. I love that shirt, by the way.
Thank you. Hey, did you hear about the Titan class Transformer GIJoe crossover that's coming?
I did. I heard it from this channel called It's Chad, and I'm excited, but I'm not sure if I'm sold. I want to be, but I haven't gotten any of the other ones.
Ever since the first two, right? The Mega Hiss and the Bumble Striker. The Mega Hiss looks like he's wearing a shopping cart on his back. Ever since those two, they've been spot on. The Thunderwave is freaking beautiful, and that Cup Triple T looks really good too.
I liked that they made the Hiss into Megatron.
Well, he's only ever going to be a tank from now on.
Yeah. I liked that. I didn't like, and I didn't mind Soundwaves. I didn't care for Bumblebees. And I think Optimus Prime should have been the what was it, ATV, the troop transport?
APC?
APC, thank you.
Look, I would have gone all out. I would have made Prime the Rolling Thunder because there's a third party, transforming robot company that made a Prime Rolling Thunder. What's up, Kato?
Jeez,
better late than never.
Stupid mountain internet, man. I've been over here fighting this stupid internet for the last hour.
First world problems of a mountain man named Kato.
He started talking about Transformers and he jumped in. He was like, I'm here.
Yeah, I heard somebody mention Transformers. I'm ready to defend Hasbro and no, I'm not. What's good?
Hey, Drew, can you do me a favor? Will you throw up Scott Hughes' comment just before it's gone and we truck along? The one that says, Chad, I'm going.
Which one
from the bottom? Chad, I'm going to disagree.
Chad, I'm going to disagree. Okay, hold on. Chad, I'm going to disagree with our favorite toy maker. I only bought 1/18 80s Joes because I could afford $2, but what I really wanted was vehicles and play sets. The world was the product. Amen.
Yeah,
I agree.
That's something that when Hasbro wanted to bring back GIJoe, I'm sure I'm like preaching to the choir, I guess, but Operation Blast Off, and they saw the success of 3 3/4 with Kenner Star Wars, and they said it's not just going to be figures, right? What we want to do is build a world. We want to sell the vehicles and the play sets, sell the world, right? So Kirk Bazigian's famous for saying, we're trying to sell the steak, not the sizzle, right? And so he wanted it to be an all-encompassing approach for the relaunch of G.I. Joe with Operation Blastoff. The figures are the loss leaders, like everyone's always said that. The figures are what gets you to buy the vehicle. The vehicle is what gets you to buy the playset, so on and so forth. The playset gets you to buy more figures, which gets you to buy more vehicles, right? It's like a cyclical thing. And that's where all those toy companies in the 80s were freaking brilliant, you know?
And
you can't afford a whale, get a devilfish.
And the media makes you fall in love with the characters, which is also lacking.
9 failed attempts, 9 to make a live action G.I. Joe movie.
Well, I've you're talking about Transformers too, and I always give Bayverse a hard time, mostly because it's absolute garbage. But I mean, I've heard it before, and I've said it before. I was like, people talk about how good they are or whatever, or how the G.I. Joe movies, how bad they are, and they are bad. But
Retaliation tried to right the ship. I will say that.
Yeah, it was getting there, but they just need to erase everything, and hopefully whatever's coming next is good. But I was like, people, Bear Grylls will drink his own piss in the middle of the desert when there's nothing else around, right?
Yep.
So when Bayverse comes out, or when the G.I. Joe movies comes out, it's like there's just people just drinking their own piss. Like, oh, we finally got something,
and that's
it doesn't completely suck.
That's how I describe. Sorry,
it was pretty bad. It sucked pretty good.
I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
That's how I describe the current state of G.I. Joe as an IP. It's not necessarily the drink your own piss analogy, but that's a perfect analogy. It's the person, in the raft lost at sea. And there's water all around them, but they know it's not great. It's not great, but they're just like, oh yeah, and they're just drinking the seawater because caramel crunch snake eyes. I'll drink that seawater, baby.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, it's surviving strictly off of it. Like if Classified started creating its own characters, I don't think it would survive. Like it's almost pure nostalgia, unless they go the old route, right, and start new media, new characters, new stuff.
But media, that's the key.
If they did that and gave people something to like, because things like Action Force show that you can sell military figures with new media. And I mean, the only thing nostalgic about Action Force as a line right now is the name.
And Steel Brigade, right? But yeah.
Right. But there's a nod to the classics in things like Steel Brigade.
Yeah, there's something familiar and comforting about the name Action Force. But
sure.
Here's the thing about media and doing something new. Everything is that balance, right? It's that, like, you're a Blade Runner. You're right on the edge of it. We saw Bumblebee kind of took Transformers in a different direction.
Thank God.
But a lot of reason why people really love G.I. Joe Resolute is Resolute, it just kind of picked up from the end of season 2 Sunbow G.I. Joe cartoon that we all knew. It didn't necessarily beat you over the head with it. It could have been 5 years later. It could have been, a month later. Nobody knows. But it did something different and new, but familiar at the same time. Like, you're killing off Bazooka right off the bat. You're killing off Sebastian Blood. And people really enjoyed that. My argument with Classified has always been, if you brought it to the now with those characters from then, and maybe Flint is the new General Hawk, Snake Eyes is just it's just name only now, right? Because that's Kamakura. You still have a Snake Eyes. You can move that forward. I don't know. It's just looking at Classified. And we're not going to turn this into that. I don't see heart in it. I don't see passion in it. I just see, like, put out a widget that's familiar to people. It's like a doorstop, right? Like, everyone knows what a doorstop is. Mm-hmm. Like, put out this widget. It's familiar to people. Make money.
when they do it right, I enjoy them. When they
Yeah, me too.
half-ass it, I'm looking at it going, why? I mean, I want both. I've always wanted a bigger scale GI Joe figure for display purposes.
Why?
So that I could do stuff like see the details from a view. But like you, also like the world build and do vehicles and playsets, and you can't do that. I mean,
well, watch
unless you
out,
have a
because
lot
now
of
we're
space
putting
and
square
money.
pegs in round holes because you're getting it. You're getting it.
When they're doing the retro ones, I'm enjoying those for the most part. But I've had this conversation with you. They're not differentiating them enough. You know, they're not modernizing. And I mean, they are in some cases, but it's kind of, I don't know. Like, I guess you could say rock and roll's more modernized.
Yeah, he's kind of a 50% version 1, 50% version 2 with a bunch of tattoos.
But then you get someone like Lady J, and there's not much of a difference between her retro
Shipwreck.
and her regular Shipwreck. Why make Shipwreck that way? I mean, stupid. I don't mind him as a retro. I love having him as a retro, but I mean, we're the other, what is it, 7 of the 13 that haven't released yet?
Where is Flash, dude?
Exactly. I mean, I
remember
Yeah,
when Classified
display or
was
whatever
first. I remember when Classified was first getting talked about, and I was doing mostly Transformers at the time, and I mean, I don't think I was even considering doing really action figures other than like a few random things here and there. And nostalgia bit me. I was like, yeah, I don't want a 1/18 scale figure. I just never. I definitely didn't want O-rings. I didn't want it to look 80s. I didn't want it to look like reissues. I wanted a modernized version of it. Honestly, had I known Hiya Toys existed at the time, I probably would have gone 1/18 because those things are freaking incredible.
I think that's a shit show in itself too. But anyway,
but yeah. But I mean, I was all in for the 112 stuff, and I was in vehicle or not, strictly off of, hey, let's get some modernized versions of Classified figures. And when they came out with the first wave, and they were a little too cartoony and spacey because they wanted, I guess they had invested too much in that really shitty video game that came out. That thing was absolute garbage.
Biggest craze.
Yeah. So stuff like that. But yeah, I was in just for the nostalgia and having a larger scale figure rather than that. In the same way that I preferred at first masterpiece scale Transformer third party rather than something the size of the Transformers I had when I was a kid, right? So in my head, Classified was going to be the masterpiece of GIJoe in the way that Masterpiece is the masterpiece of these little 3, 4-inch, 5-inch Transformers I had as a kid, right? That's what was going on in my head. So I definitely filed right in line for nostalgia, right? That's 100%. And for the good, bad, or indifferent, that's what I did. But at the time, I was new to action figure collecting as a hobby, right? I didn't really know what my options were.
Yeah.
I was kind of led by nostalgia and ignorance, right? The more I collected, the more I started filming and watching other people. And, I saw that there were other things out there like third-party Transformers rather than just Masterpiece Transformers. And I saw, there's Legend scale. I mean, they can be small and great, like me in the sack, or, so there's a mixture of all. It's just I was less ignorant as it went by. Now, I mean, I've got a shit ton of Classified, but I'm way, way, way more picky about what I don't just go buy everything now. And I'm also one of those guys, one of the handful of dudes that actually really has fond memories of the Cobra La era. So when they're doing things like these weird ass characters, I'm perfectly on board with it, and almost more on board because it's weird and doesn't mess up my first couple
See, I'm
seasons
total
of
opposite.
Joe.
I'm total
Yeah.
opposite. Those are like I was saying in the beginning of the stream, before you got here, like those figures are like a secondary. It's not that I hate them. It's like
Elseworlds.
it's kind of a if I get them cheap, I'll put them with my Joes and stuff. But it's not something I'm really drawn to like that.
I think the Cobra Law Royal Guard is freaking awesome. I do have a couple of those, and they're just in little
Now
corners.
there's stuff in there. It's just like the big winged bat character, Nemesis or whatever. Enforcer.
Nemesis Enforcer / Immortal, depending on when you're talking about the figure.
Okay. See, yeah, you know more than me. That's why I watch your channel. But like it's like I don't hate that stuff. I would display it. I'm just not going to pay the price they're wanting for it, and when there's something else that I want more. So I kind of skip that. I do want to go to.
I want to say goodnight to Ace before he bails, and
Ace.
I'm looking forward to 1/18 scale V.
Yeah, go to sleep. Have a great rest of the stream, guys. Later. Yep, Ramen Toys Ace. Great to have you in the chat, bud. Thank you again for the Ramen Racers, and look forward to future products. So I did want to go back to
good stuff.
Yeah, he does. And I'm
he's
very happy with what
great.
I got. I got the both CAG sets and the 2 cars. I don't think I have anything else on pre-order right now, but I have been tempted. I've held off so far.
Both of the tanks, not the Emphas, whatever, the black and red one. I got the exclusive, the desert sand, and the green hunters.
The hero main battle tank. Yeah.
I want to get to this, but I want to ask y'all a question. I'm very confused on his mask line. Is it GIJoe scale or is it regular scale?
It's 2.5.
It's regular mask scale.
Yes and no. I think he's going larger. I think he's going larger going forward.
He is going even scale moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going a little larger, 118 for mask going forward, with the potential for 112 humans for display or play. A possibility if fans really go for it. I think the Great White,
not Piranha. Yeah, it's 118.
The Great White I think is the last one that'll be the original scale.
2.5. Yep.
Yeah, and then Piranha and forward should be 118. I believe.
Okay. All right, back to George Aiken's comment. Why don't they split the classified into 2 types, retro and new modern Joes? They kind of do, but they're very, I don't know. I feel like the Transformers and Masters of the Universe do that well. Shipping and stocking aside, because you can't ever find this stuff, but they have the different sets, like they're like, let's say Motu, New Eternia, the new series, the classic concept. They have different styles of figures. Plus, you have your original looking figures and the ones that look like the cartoon. So you have different aspects of that at different scales. Transformers is really good. Speaking of something I just got, this is a comic version of Grimlock.
Love Grimlock, man.
They also do IDW comic stuff.
And then you got
G1, you got movie.
This is a movie masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm all about that tank mode for him.
100%. Now that's one thing I can say for certain. I'll talk trash about Bayverse all day long, but as far as the figures go, their vehicle modes are fantastic.
And then
I got Ironhide.
You got OG masterpiece, right?
Yeah. I have Ironhide masterpiece. Dude. I got him cheap, but I just can't afford masterpiece. I have a couple of masterpieces, and then the prices started going up even higher, and I was like, I'm out. And legacy stuff is.
I did that with legend scale stuff with New Age, and because it's cheaper, right? It's cheaper dollar wise. Like you're going to
Right.
spend $50, $70 to $100 for a figure that is very small, like, you know, 3 inches, 4 inches tall. But I mean, you talk about Grimlock, like this is right here, probably the best Grimlocks on the market. You cannot find better versions of Grimlock as a toy, you know, than New Age and Magic Square. New Age, especially, I think probably wins out. I mean, it's damn near perfect, and you can get any one of the 10 versions of them they do. But you know, it's going to be $75 to $100 for something this big.
Yeah.
But
Right.
Kato,
yep.
do you have experience with ECS Direct for the third-party stuff?
No, I don't. I mostly do TF Safari shows, mostly TF Safari, but
Yeah,
Josie and stuff like ECS Direct.
I bought a few from ECS Direct, and one's shown up, the rest haven't. I'm kind of like,
Yeah.
Look, this looks really good. It's the Prowl masterpiece,
Prowl.
but I have the new Legacy one that came out of that 5-figure box set.
Yep.
I mean,
well, they're what the Transformers team there is finally doing, and like it's like they're actually talking within the office now, and it's not just a bunch of people that live in different worlds. You'll see something like MP44 come out for Optimus, right? I think it's MP44, but like one of the most accurate versions of my Optimus Prime they've done. And then now they come out with the Studio Series 86 Optimus Prime, and it's basically the same engineering as the Masterpiece, just, you know, dumbed down and brought down to tinier, cheaper plastic scale. So
the answer to this is no. I got it from Amazon. So, you know, I'm going to touch on George's question that you threw up on there. Yeah, it is nice to see Drew live. Oh, Drew.
which one?
George's question about the why don't they do because I mean, elephant in the room, right? You got a brand manager, marketing, whatever her title is every other week, right? She's trying to juggle every boys action line that isn't a Disney IP, right? A Disney licensed IP. Knows nothing about it, drinking from the fire hose. Don't blame her, right? I try to at least be measured in that. I'm not going to pick on the person. I'm sure it's a hard job. Then you got Lenny, right? For anybody who knows, you know. If you don't know, like Lenny's been a fake it till you make it forever, right? And if he's not faking it enough to make it, then he'll stab you in the back. Hi. Sorry, the ma'am. Yeah, right. And the line never had a vision. Like it started off 2 waves, maybe a wave and a half with a vision, but that was based on the game, which was supposed to coincide with the Snake Eyes movie. Both of those failed. Then it was like react. At least when Mattel decided they were going to relaunch Masters of the Universe for what, like the 4th time, they said, okay, like we're going to, you know, so you have what the original Masters that died in 87, you got the 2000X stuff, then you got the Matty collector. And then now, ever since Scott Knightlick kind of got shown the door, they realized they could put this stuff back in stores. And then they've got, you know, all these different versions of Masters of the Universe, to include the little kid line. 2 different types of animation. You got like the old school stuff with Revelation and Revolution and whatever it's called, and then you got the little kid one with, you know, Fireman, He-Man, and they're doing it. You know, they're doing their thing, and Joe is just like, I don't know. Like, what should we make? I don't know.
I mean, you could make a classified Resolute figures. You can make the comic accurate ones. You can make the cartoon accurate ones. You can make modern versions.
So it's
movie
like they're
version.
getting close. Like the Mattel team did it the way it's successful with Mattel is they did it unapologetically.
Yeah.
They're like, we're doing this. We're going to give you a 6-inch version of this new Netflix show, kid friendly He-Man. We're going to give you a 6 or 7-inch version of Revolution and Revelation He-Man. We're going to give you the 80s Dolph Lundgren. We're just going to give you all these. We're not sorry about it. We're going to throw a new label on the front, all part of this whole shared universe toy line, right? And Hasbro started to get on board with it, like you were saying, with Legacy, right? We're going to give you an Armada Starscream, a Bayverse Starscream, all these different nods to the different inclinations of or versions of Megatron. Yeah, I answered Brian. Sorry, it's in the cleaners, but don't worry, I'm still naked from the waist down. If you need to imagine that. Yeah, so like with Transformers, they started to do that with Legacy pretty well, right? We'll give you updated versions of these other characters. Classified could do the same thing. Classified could do exactly what Drew's saying and say, let's do even though the movies weren't that great, let's do outside of the likeness deal that you probably have to do, let's do a movie version of GIJoe.
They weren't great, but there's still people that enjoy them for what they are. It's kind of like
I do not like freaking Coattails Storm Shadow. I never understood the deal with the leather jacket. I mean, talk about impossible to move in it. And why does it have coattails? I don't know. Weird design. But
yeah, I've never watched
it. Hasbro really wanted
to.
They could bring Joe back to what Joe was. Like Star Wars is pretty much on life support with original trilogy stuff or your onesie twosies. Marvel is just doing whatever Marvel's doing, and Hasbro has to be told, like, oh, you got to make all these figures for the Eternals and the Marvels and Rose Tico and General Holdo, and people don't want that. But we all kind of know where that deal's going anyway. That thing's going in the toilet.
And that's
if they're going to focus on
to me.
If they're going to focus on their brands, right? Keep trucking forward with the Transformer stuff. Do Joe like you did Star Wars. Do the retro O-rings. Do the modern construction, like fully articulated, which would be like the GIJoe version of the vintage collection. And then do your stupid classified with your retro and whatever. Maybe even bring back the 12-inch stuff. Joe sells. Joe will sell no matter what. But you got to put your best foot forward, right? Because shit in is shit out. And we've seen time and again where they just half-ass something. And then they're like, oh, well, it didn't sell. Well, it's like, where did you even offer those O-ring figures? And who needs those 2-packs? How many people have an O-ring Cobra Commander? Do something new. Do something like exciting. But again, it's just like, oh, well, people will buy it. And then they half-ass it. Whatever. Gentlemen, I got to bail. But it was good to hang out with you. I'm sorry I got to go.
Oh, glad to have you, bud.
I love you both.
Thanks, brother.
I will see you soon.
I love you more.
See you.
I think about you right before I go to sleep every night.
Then you love me more. Yeah. All right. Love you. Bye. Bye to everybody in the chat. See you. Bye,
bud.
Finally, he's gone. Jesus, that guy.
Finally, you're here.
I know, man. I felt so terrible. I'm sitting there like, it's anyway. It's the internet here is it's like it's on loan.
Impossible Pie. Do you want to answer this question? Because I'm going to answer it after you get done.
Who do you want to take over Marvel Legends once Hasbro stops? I don't know if you've seen Facebook lately. Apparently, Hasbro bought Bobby Vala a stiff drink at a table. So maybe they've worked out some kind of deal where Bobby Vala is going to start doing Marvel Legends. Who knows?
That would be cool.
No, I don't know. I don't know who I'd like to do Marvel Legends. I mean, I don't know how close the Jazzware folks are to the Hasbro team, but the Fortnite figures are selling like hotcakes. I don't know. I don't collect Marvel Legends enough to have a dog in the fight. So, yeah, I don't know. You either, huh? Yep. You almost have none. I don't know what your problem is.
And
Maybe
I
a
ain't
couple.
got any.
Yeah. So, as a Marvel Legends collector, see, I've collected some Marvel Legends, but it's a rabbit hole I have to avoid because I will go way too deep, and I'll grab the occasional Spider-Man figure when it pops up. But
Right.
yeah, who's your go-to?
Honestly, I mean, my ultimate choice is is Valaverse. I would love Valaverse to do Marvel because he knows the brand already. He did it already,
Yeah,
and
that's true. Yeah, he's already
he
done.
doesn't have the um, handcuffs that he did when he worked there.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, he did a lot of great things for the Marvel figures when they were there. Um, that said, I'm
I do
also
have one
biased.
more answer though.
What'd you say?
I do have one more answer though.
Okay,
Freaking
go
love
ahead.
AWOC. I love AWOC. So having somebody like Spiro take over someone like Marvel Legends or Thundercats or anyone like that, I'm all for too.
Okay. You see, I don't have any AWOC figures. I know you're big into that. It's
Yeah,
not.
good stuff.
They look awesome. I've been to your table a couple of times when you were with them, and they look awesome. It's just there's so much that I'm already collecting that I just
yeah, man.
it's hard to get into
Something's got to
another
give.
because I collect I collect everything, and I collect both vintage and modern. So
Anyway, I interrupted you. I'm sorry, but
no,
I
you're
just
good.
wanted to make.
I wish Mayfex could have more of an American presence so we could get those figures cheaper because I would totally buy Mayfex figures. I only have two figures. I have Wolverine and Cyclops, and I love those figures. And I want more, but like 100 and $120 a pop is just hard
That's
to
tough.
do.
Yep.
Build a line. That said, there's so much. If Marvel can, or if Hasbro could keep the line and actually have someone that gives a crap about it and
Mm-hmm.
get some accuracy and listen to the fans and listen to what we're wanting and what we're wanting you to tweak. I mean, there's so much potential. Plus, they're so far down in the lore that you have all these teams. I'm a collector of. Well, I was a collector of the MCU stuff. Now, if they do legacy stuff, I'll buy that. But I love. I mean, if you saw the shelves a minute ago, I have a lot of different eras, like different eras of the Avengers, different eras of the Fantastic Four, different eras of the X-Men. And I like team building. Like, I wish they would re-release the original set that came out in Toys R Us of the original X-Men. If they would do that, and that was a Toys R Us exclusive right as Toys R Us was going down. So I never saw those, didn't even hear about them until Toys R Us was gone. So not everyone lives near Toys R Us.
Yeah. I certainly don't. I did for a while, but yeah.
I would love that. Re-release that Cyclops from the 2-pack with Jean and put
Was that the
what I
first
would
one
love
that gave
is
you
for them to
the?
put two different head sculpts, the ones with the fin visors from his second costume, and then the one from the giant size X-Men where it's the big bulkier ones. You could have it's the same costume, it's just two different visors. Have a head swap for that. That would be really cool to do. That would give you a figure for two different eras there. They've released this guy, which I don't know if you said
Was
you're not
that's the astonishing run, right?
Nope, this is X Factor second costume.
Yeah, right. The astonishing one was around the House of X time. What am I thinking? I haven't read a Marvel comic in I don't know how long. But yes, I recall that.
When X Factor first was released, they all had these costumes, and he had a this costume with yellow, which they have not released since Toy Biz, the 5-inch figures. They've released this, which is the second costume after there were some changes in where Angel becomes Archangel, Beast changes back to blue, and Iceman has to wear the belt to do the thing. Now I pose him with this Iceman, but he's wearing an X-Men belt. They could easily re-release this figure with a he had basically a power dampener because he couldn't control his ice powers, but with the belt on, he could control his powers again. So it's like a big silver belt that they've made for the Marvel Selects. But that's the only X Factor figure they've released. I mean, you got Beast as a human in a costume and Beast as with the X Factor costume as a blue hair guy, which is like brown and yellow. There's so many eras where they've like almost finished the characters, but not. And yet they keep bringing out random no-name figures. And I'm like, fill out that Outback team. I mean, we need a Gateway and what's the Colossus with no shirt with the big yellow belt. We need that character. We also need Colossus with the red and the white full shirt thing. He's always with the yellow with the red on the side, but never the white and red. So, I mean, I could go on that for days. There's so many figures that they could still do. And I'm worried that if someone else takes over, we're going to start back with another Wolverine, another Cyclops, another. And it's just going to be a rehash of and I'm afraid it's going to be keep McFarlane away from it. I love his sculpts, but 7 inches and
don't change the scale.
We got all Wolverines.
That's right. Just like you go and you see like he builds what sells, which is Batman. And as much as people want to say they want like some of the, the random characters, they just don't. I mean, it's kind of the same reason I joke in Transformers every time they release a new Optimus Prime. I'm like, holy crap, Optimus Prime! We finally get one. Like, just wait a week, you'll get another one. Just wait a week, you'll get another Batman.
Good,
I think I stopped. I don't think I've read an X-Men comic, and X-Men and Spider-Man were always my favorite throughout all the years. I don't think I've read one since after Grant Morrison's run and into New X-Men, where the old X-Men team show back up. I think so. It's been a long time.
I recently picked this one up, which is issue 25. I'm going through all of X-Men lore from the beginning, and I'm all the way through right now to the Inferno crossover in late 80s. But going back to McFarlane, this is the line that I think is he's doing good on if he would just market it to kids. Like it's what we played. It's like new versions of what we played with as kids.
Every time I go down the toy aisle, I look at that. Like one of my favorite toys to play with as a kid, as lame as the character is, as much as we laugh about him now, the Aquaman that had the kicking, you squeeze the hands or squeeze the feet. I can't remember which one and he would kick in the bathtub. I remember as a little kid playing with Super Friends Aquaman in the bathtub like crazy. That was my bathtub toy when I was like, yesterday. But but yeah, I mean the Super Friends line, I think that's great. I think he could do an entire run of,
Well, I mean, he's putting it different lores, newer and older versions, which I like a lot. But like he did his Kickstarter, which I think is about to end, and last I looked, it wasn't even at 25%. It's a reissued Batman, repainted Batman, a repainted Aquaman, and I want to say like a bat ski boat thing that he's kickstarting, which is like it's a cheap for if you've messed with any of the
Oh yeah,
newer
I've got the
vehicles,
Batmobile, the '66 Batmobile,
they
and
look good, but they're made cheap. And
super cheap.
He's trying to kickstart this, and I'm going, just put it in the store. We'll buy it.
Yeah.
A Manta thing is a vehicle. Again, I'd buy them. I want them. But I mean, I haven't backed the Kickstarter, but because I think it's a stupid model to do that. I mean, you already have the products and you're doing repaints for a Kickstarter. Just put the product out there and buy it. And
I think a lot of
market
times, and I think
cartoon-based ones again.
this is an opinion I have, and it's actually less of an opinion than something that I've spoke to people in the industry about, like the crowdfunding stuff for. And I don't know if DC or Mattel or McFarlane are operating the same way, but I can say with a pretty big piece of confidence that the only reason HasLab exists as a crowdfunding model is because Hasbro isn't designing and manufacturing the crowdfunded stuff. It's outsourced to someone else to do the larger scale stuff like Sentinel, like his tank. All that stuff is done out of house and it's contracted out. And the only reason it's crowdfunded is because they're not investing the money in it until
it's not
they know
it's
it's
not
happening.
a loss for them.
Right, exactly. They're not making it.
What they'll make.
Like this isn't a
Hasbro
his tank. This is somebody like Ace from Ramen is making a his tank and basically letting subcontracting out the build and manufacturing for it. And there's Hasbro is saying, well, if it funds, we'll do it. If not, it's no skin off our nose. So that's I don't think Lenny and the team are building the his tank.
I get the business model. I mean, I agree with like people like Michael French and other people who are like they're against it, but obviously I've still backed some of them. I have a his tank. I have Sentinels. I have back in the Giant Man because I want it. I want those products, and this is how they're doing it. If I want them,
I 100% can be on board with why people despise that model. But I'm also a sap and I want open.
But when you're making, like you said, the Optimus Prime and making a Kickstarter, or Todd McFarlane making these superpowers vehicles that you get for $20 to $30 at Walmart, and you're trying to kickstart it, it's you're abusing the Kickstarter model, and it's I don't know. I'm not gonna support that.
That's why I'm such a big fan of, like, on the indie stuff, I'm such a big fan of supporting Kickstarter for a lot more. Like for me, I get that his tank and HasLab is I keep saying his tank. I get that the HasLab is a crowdfunding thing, but I don't see it that way. I do not. I know it is, right. I know I'm in like I'm lying to myself, but to me, it's no different for myself than a pre-order. If it gets made, fine. If not, fine. Like that's really all. That's how I picture HasLab. It's just a fancy pre-order for expensive toys. Kickstarter stuff, like real crowdfunding, I love it. Like getting into the indie stuff and seeing stuff like AWOC and even Riot Press and Ramen Toy. I mean, Ramen Toy doesn't even really mess with the Kickstarter thing. It sort of is, but it's sort of self-kickstarted, or self-crowdfunded, not really.
Like Bobby did the Kickstarter. It didn't make. He slimmed it down, retweaked it, and then did it. I backed both times because I looked at it and I believed in it at the time and was like, all right, I'm behind this. I didn't know.
And it's even a model that probably I'll be using soon. Like Quentin and I will probably use some sort of quick Kickstarter or Indiegogo for the comic. I mean, it's a model that we're going to use because for folks that can't get like just even the little bit that I've dabbled in there, the amount of money involved in like I've had quotes upwards of $10,000 to $15,000 per mold for a figure, right? Like if you want to make a figure, the tooling for a mold can be anywhere from $8,000 to $15,000 depending on the complexity of the figure you're doing.
It's crazy.
It is insane. So like I get, even like I said, the little bit that I've been messing around with it for Quentin and I doing this comic and possible figure line coming up, that it is unfathomably expensive to get into the industry, right? If you don't have some sort of, and that's just making the mold. That's not paying the artist. That's not paying the writer. That's not paying the renderer. That's not paying the guy who makes the articulation joints and engineers that. It's a different, typically a different person. So, I mean, just the mold for one mold can be 10, 15 grand.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It is. And then you're talking, multiple molds for accessory sculpts and head sculpts. So, like, listen, Mattel all those years ago was absolutely, and even Hasbro with GIJoe basically make one or two figures that you can paint a little differently. And I mean, He-Man was the master of it, right? I mean, they had basically 2 or 3 molds that they ran through the entire line, swap out a few things here and there.
Speaking of He-Man, I've had this question up here for a while because I was gonna bring it into topic. Why can Mattel do He-Man cartoon to boot, but Hasbro can't do at least one G.I. Joe cartoon? The last one I can recall is Renegades. I think it's my opinion. I think it's a political reason of they don't want to be associated with the guns and
100%.
Military. But
the reason Masters of the Universe and stuff like that can survive is because it's things that look like people fighting things that look like monsters and creatures and things that don't have souls. The minute you start this human on human violence with things, they'll shun that to begin with.
And if Chad was in here, I know he would bring up I forgot his name, Demonitura or something. Divanatura.
Divanaventura.
I can't ever say his name. But he probably has a big he's probably a huge reason of why it hasn't happened yet. But I would love a new G.I. Joe cartoon.
I mean, if the success of the new comic with some good writing and the Duke, the Cobra Commander from Skybound, some of the best comic writing for Joe that I've seen in a long time. And same with Transformers. When you embrace what brought people to the story to begin with, you can sell stuff. And it's done a pretty good job. But the whole bringing to the screen, red lasers and blue lasers fighting human people is going to be tough. Now, it could be done now more than ever with stuff like Netflix and all the streaming services, because I think they're a little more open to, it's not broadcast on the family television where the kids can stumble across it so easily, right? You have a little bit more of a trap of content. But if they did do something like, say, Castlevania style, what are some other more cartoons that lean more adult now? A lot of the Netflix anime and animated stuff leans heavily to the nostalgia of people that used to be 10, 15 years old that are now 40 and 50. So, and you don't need the amount of viewers to keep it going as you would if it was on a broadcast television network.
Right.
So I think if there's ever been a time for us to get something good like G.I. Joe, it's going to be the same way that Mattel did it and Masters of the Universe did it. And that's going to be on a streaming channel like, Paramount Plus and Peacock, I think, are all part of that same rights owning family of G.I. Joe live action stuff, right?
Yeah. It's sad. A little off topic here. Scott Hughes sent me this earlier and I pulled it up and I think you would like it.
I saw those when I was looking around for Bo and Luke figure. I saw that same exact set. I saw the guy. I think it was an old Reddit forum or old Facebook forum that I saw those two show up on, and I was like, this guy could make a whole bunch of money right now because I think he customized the bodies, but he ordered the heads from somewhere. The guy, if I'm remembering that right.
Yeah, the heads look good. Just the eye paint doesn't, in my opinion.
Yeah. So it was all like customized probably 2 or 3 years ago from when I read it or from when I saw the Reddit forum. It was an old forum way before there was ever a Tiger Orange possibility.
If I get if I can get two figures, I'm gonna have it displayed like this and have on this side I'm gonna have Luke like with his feet halfway in, kind of leaning up, sitting on the side like he's jumping through, and then I'm gonna have Bo sliding on the top.
Yep. So I've got a buddy of mine. I don't know if you know who Firetox is.
Who?
Firetox. He's a friend of mine that does a lot of Transformer stuff, and he's the one that made all these like the. Of course, you would come off when I'm trying to do something. Like he made these figure stands and stuff like that for me. He's done like a ton
You
of.
froze up for a second on your camera. Show me again.
Oh, I told you my internet's going to be in a dick. But Firetox, he made like these 3D printed figure stands and a bunch of like stuff for Transformers. But he's making some Cooters gas pumps that the charging. Yeah, the charging cable is going to go into and come out of. So I'll have it beside the general. There'll be two.
Oh, that's cool. That's a great idea.
Two Cooters gas tanks with the charging cable coming out and into the gas pump there, or the gas tank there.
Needed a little mock.
I know it's going to be a bad thing. Once I see those, it's going to be really bad with the stuff I want.
Yeah, like, you're going to need a mock building, like just the facade to have it in front of.
So I live about an hour away from Gatlinburg, and I don't know if you've ever been there, but there's a Cooter garage in Gatlinburg. It's like a Dukes of Hazzard museum and store and all this kind of stuff. Great place.
Doesn't he?
He owns the brand, and I don't think. I mean, he's been there before. Yeah, I can't remember his name now off the top of my head. I feel like such a loser now. I cannot think of his name. Normally, I know that kind of stuff, but yeah. So I'm gonna try to find out when anyone from the show will be around. I saw John Snyder at RetroCon.
I'd love to meet him.
Dude, one of the most genuinely cool dudes out there.
I love him. He's awesome.
Yeah.
This year I had to apply the stickers myself. So I got
that's a benefit. But so I seriously am thinking about doing his personal General Lee. The sticker his sticker is off to the side and it says Bo's General Lee. I'm gonna try to see if I can get a couple of Bo's made.
I think you should make one in that same style, but say Kato's.
Yeah, that too. Might do that too. But I want to see if I can run into him again. Again, one of the coolest dudes. I was so upset when he lost his wife, and glad to see that he's happy again now. Big John Snyder fan. I got to talk to him real briefly. We actually passed each other on the way to the restroom at RetroCon. Super, just really cool dude. And this was not long after he lost his wife and he showed up. But him, Catherine Bach, and Tom Wopat were there. So it was, I mean, the crowd for them was
Nice.
crazy to try to get into. And Stan Bush. So there was Stan Bush, someone I can't remember, John Snyder, Tom Wopat, Catherine Bach were all along the wall there. But he was unique in how he dealt with the fans. So he had the largest line. A lot of it had to do with the fact that, Smallville and Dukes of Hazzard.
He did so well in Smallville. I loved his character.
He's to me, he's the icon. He's the bar for Clark's dad, Jonathan. Right? He set the standard for how Jonathan should be on live action.
I hated that they killed him off in it because they're trying to do like the movie. I'm like, Dean Cain's Superman had his dad living.
Well, if you remember, like it wasn't too like the thing people would remember back then was the death of Superman, and it was the loss of Jonathan that brought him back. So it was fresh story, or fresh.
Yeah, but Jonathan came back too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
they both came back together.
No, you don't. You want to talk? We can go off on a rant here. You want to talk about live action disasters? I'm about as much of a Kevin Costner fan as I am a John Snyder fan.
But
you want to talk about a trash representation of Jonathan Kent on screen, and that's Kevin Costner's writing.
It was horrible.
Like, man, that movie annoyed me so much. Like,
me too.
Jonathan Kent would not say, "God, okay, Jonathan Kent would not say, "Hey, if Clark walks up and says, 'What was I supposed to do, Dad? Let him die?'" Talking about the kids in the bus that he saved, and Jonathan goes, "I don't know, maybe."
He would not say maybe. He would say
he would not
no.
say maybe. Let the kids.
He would
die.
say no.
You risk everything to save those
but we
kids.
gotta be smart about it. He would say no, but we gotta be smart about it.
Yep. If they're sitting in the tornado under a bridge,
how to critical think in a situation like that.
Yeah.
So
he would absolutely not say maybe. No, not maybe. That pissed me off so much. And the death of Jonathan in the movie when he's like running out into the storm to save somebody, and he's like, "No, wait, don't do it."
Wasn't it a dog?
Yeah, it was going out to save a dog or something, and then the tornado is like, Don't risk your life to save me and mess up your secret. Like, Clark can be in and out of there without anyone ever knowing it. Like,
exactly.
That's so stupid.
And it's chaotic in the middle of a tornado.
So dumb. Anyway.
Yeah, I loved Smallville. Smallville was how me and my wife started dating.
I love Smallville. Like, I even forgive like when it got really terrible after the writer's strike and they started to go too far with it. When everyone was jumping ship, Kristen Crook and all those were like, "I'm out, I'm done." Once Michael Rosenbaum left, I was like, "Oh, this is going to be hard."
Yeah, Michael Rosenbaum was great. I was watching his was it Smallville cast.
Mm-hmm.
So I got up to season 2, but I haven't watched it in a while. But it was enjoyable watching him and what's his name, Tom Welling.
Oh yeah,
talk about the show and everything. Going back to that, I'm glad Tom Welling's coming back around. He's come back around the last 5 or 6 years and really embraced it. Where I felt like he distanced himself from it for a while.
Yeah, I always find it a tough pill, and I like Tom Welling a lot too because I think again he's one of the Smallville was a phenomenal way to retell that story. Like I remember watching that. I was a massive Smallville fan. Like the way they redid it, it was basically, the Ultimate Universe version of. I always tell people that Smallville is if Marvel writers wrote Superman, right? They gave him flaws. They gave him real, like the writing there was like the idea that the meteor that brought him here killed Lana's parents, and she wore that necklace, and he literally could not get within a few feet. That's smart. Like, that's smart writing. So there's
there
a
was
lot
some
of stuff
really
about
good
those.
writing, and
Yeah. It gets a little weird once we get into trench coat Clark, and
yeah.
later on, but still, it was enjoyable.
Some of the lore that they were changing for the Kryptonian was a little weird with the coming from the past and why he was back and why he was there. I was like, that doesn't make. That's just adding unnecessariness to it. But during that time, the whole, like, bringing it back to John Schneider, his character, you just loved. Like, I even loved Michael Rosenbaum's Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I was like,
yeah.
Man, I was like, I wanted him to redeem. Like, no, don't hate him.
They did
good in
such
him.
a good job with Lex and Clark in that story, because if you were a fan, and I mean, almost no one doesn't know the story of Superman anymore, right? I mean, it's
Right.
everyone knows that. So, like, knowing where they end up was part of the pain, right? It's like, man, how are they going to get to the point where they absolutely hate each other based on where they are now? So that was good. And then, adding Lionel in there as the idea of what Lex was going to end up being was great.
Talk about an amazing actor.
Yep. Yeah. The two dads, what's his name that played Lionel? I can't remember that right now. I'm brain farting. Anyway,
Glover.
Yes, it is Glover.
Danny Glover? No, not Danny Glover.
No, but
something Glover.
I can see it. Anyway, but him, like John Snyder and him and Martha, like having those three actors in there. What is it?
Is it Donald Glover?
Donald? No. Is it Donald Glover? That doesn't sound right.
Anyone in chat? Chat's too silent. I need to know.
We bored them. They're gone.
Scott Hughes wanna.
John Glover. John. I was about to say Jonathan, but I couldn't get Jonathan out because we were talking about Jonathan Kent.
John Glover.
John
That's
Glover.
it. John Glover.
John Glover.
Master Son in the house. What's up?
What's up, Master Son? But yeah, so having like John Glover,
John Glover was
John Snyder, and Annette O'Toole as the parent figures in that whole setup. Man, that was a knockout cast. What's up, Master Son? Glad to see you here. We're just talking about nothing and everything.
I mean, it has its flaws, but it's still entertaining. It was.
Oh man, I could not. There was a time like during that era of television, I could not wait to get home from work. Like, I worked retail at Circuit City, so I'd work 8, 9 o'clock at night. I couldn't wait. You had Buffy, you had Smallville, you had Supernatural, you had all this stuff on at the time that was like some of the coolest stuff on late night TV. Between Fox and the WB.
I never watched Buffy, and I never watched Supernatural. Now, I have watched part of season 1 because I own it, but we never got into it. Like, I've heard it's really good, and then it has its dips.
Oh yeah, it definitely has its dips, especially once they go way into the season. They could have let it go, but they brought it back. I like
the idea.
Yeah, it's such a killer show. Like,
when he left,
talk about, you were saying like how Tom Welling finally is embracing Smallville a little bit. Like, it's always hard for me to, like, when folks want to shun the character that made them famous to begin with. Like, I can only imagine the headache and heart and aggravation that comes along with that. But you got folks like Jensen Ackles that fully embrace the campiness of Supernatural and getting him where he was.
He's a good actor too.
Yeah, he is.
Like, he left Smallville and went into star in that, and his career took off after that.
Yep.
Also, the guys from both the guys from Vampire Diaries were both in.
A lot of folks came out of that WB UPN era of stuff.
Oh yeah,
Krypton, the Krypton villain of the week got old. Yeah, it did. But that's the only way at the time. That's the way you did television, right? It wasn't going to be serialized. It was going to be just villain of the week with some side story in the background.
Yeah, they kind of got away from that a little bit, and it would be like maybe the villain of the month or something that would be, and then they'd have like some story elements through. But yeah, for a while there, it was villain of the week.
Throw Scott's question up there. Scott, first off, I never watched it. I have yet to watch the final, like all of the final season of Supernatural, and I think I'm okay with leaving it off. Like almost every series that I've loved, when they do finally get to the end, I never like the finale because it's like, I mean, I can go all the way back. I mean, you can go back as far as like Lost and things like that. Like the
I never finished Lost.
Terrible.
I never finished
Game
Lost.
of Thrones,
finished Heroes.
Yeah. Heroes, man, what a good time it was for television until it wasn't.
Those started off with like such like Lost and Heroes were just like the top tier of television, and then they just went.
Well, because American television doesn't know how to do that anymore. Like British series, outside of a few, like British television series for a lot of they take it easy, Tim. They tell a story, right? And that's what I want. And not to pat myself on the back or whatever or self promote, but that's what Quentin and I keep talking about with this comic. Like we want an end to it. We want death to matter. We want a story to be told, and that's it.
Right.
If we never do another thing, then we never do another thing. But like American television just can't seem to grasp that. It happens more now with streaming, but syndicated television doesn't survive with the end of a story. And they will milk something for as long as they possibly can. I mean, you look at Walking Dead. Like that first season, maybe 2 seasons of the Walking Dead TV series took the world by storm. Now, like, yes, they've got like 3, 4, 5 spinoffs of it. Like Daryl's off on his own.
They got the Daryl spinoff coming.
Yeah, they got a Michonne and Rick spinoff coming. Like it's just
honestly the season that they got to the prison, whichever season that was, 3 or 4.
I think it was 3.
I finished that season and I never went back.
Yeah, like I stuck it out, man. Like I stuck it out all the way to when Rick left and things like that. I'm like, just let it go.
Yeah,
at this point, it's got to be costing more than it's bringing in.
The show.
Yeah, like just tell a story. Like I've missed that. Tell a story and be
Impossible
done.
Pie says, "Do you guys watch Flash and Arrow? First season of Flash was fantastic. Arrow was good into the last few seasons. I did. I watched. I loved the first 2 seasons of Arrow. I think they are great.
Mm-hmm.
It's Batman light, but it's still a good show.
Well, that's all that was. That was a way to get Batman on live action TV without getting Batman.
Yeah, and the Flash, which I don't understand. Put Batman on TV. I mean, it would work. Anyway, Flash first 2 seasons also. Everything after that just became kind of eh. I tried the what is it? Legends of
Legends of Tomorrow.
Legends of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I tried with that. I watched 2 seasons of that and it was like eh. Supergirl, I enjoyed the first season when it was on NBC.
Yep.
And then after when they brought it over to the CW, it became Superman's sister's girlfriend. You know,
yep.
that's I mean the whole thing was about her sister coming out, and I'm like, this isn't why I'm here. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, that was never even hinted at in the first season. So obviously, you made a redirect, which is fine. Whatever. I don't care. But I'm here to see Supergirl. I want to see the Supergirl I saw in the first season.
And that's what happened to a lot of stuff.
Team
Like that's what happened to
Supergirl
Flash. The Flash was the same way. I remember the
and
first
Arrow.
season of the Flash, Green Arrow. I remember watching the first season of Flash, and I was like, "This is it," because Flash is probably my favorite DC character.
Yeah,
because
sorry
he's.
about
I'm perfectly fine. It's like music to my ears. I love cats. Because Flash was at least like the Barry Allen, or when you get into the mixture of the Wally West, Barry Allen comedy, heart of the DC universe type character that they've always put out there. Like, yeah, he's a goofball, but he's the animated Barry Allen from Justice League, right? The happy goofball that holds everything together, right?
right.
I've always loved that idea, that version of the Flash. And like, I was like, man, they're really doing a good job with this. It's a good, campy, cheesy story, villain of the week type stuff, but they're doing really good at getting, Barry on there. It's not necessarily a Barry Allen story, but I see what they're doing and all that. But then, like, what was his girlfriend's name?
If you hadn't asked me.
I know I'm doing the same thing. I swear I'm losing my mind the older I get. But anyway, like it started getting like so much about her, and then Team Flash and how she's the heart and soul of Team Flash, and she's the leader of Team Flash. Like, fuck it, no, she's not. Shut up. She's nobody. She's literally nobody. Get her out of here. Let's tell Flash stories.
Yeah, they always want to take they want to take those characters that are like supporting characters and reasons for the hero to go and want to make them the hero. And I'm like, okay, that's not in any lore of the comic,
He's right. The Reverse Flash storyline, that was all really good stuff. Like it was
really good.
It was all really good. But then you get as soon as you get into Iris being
Iris West, that's what it was.
As soon as you get into Iris being important, other than being important to Barry, like, sure, make her important to Barry, but don't make her important to the team. Like, she's terrible.
She's the reason he's she's the draw. I gotta save her. I've gotta.
Yeah, but she just wanted to be. They wanted to make her way too important to the like. It was bad. It was horrible. Yeah. Gotham. I sort of enjoyed how cheesy and horrible Gotham was. Like,
I hated Will Smith's wife in the show. Other than that, I enjoyed the show.
I think she is garbage as any kind of acting possibility. I don't know. I'm not going to say all of her performance. There were some times in the show where I thought it worked, but sorry, I'm distracted by my dang cat. Hey.
He carries around his mouse. He's got it like a rat that he carries in his mouth. And
ours does the same thing. Screams.
So aggravating.
Yeah, ours does the same thing.
But the show, I don't know. Something about the show I liked it, but there was a lot of places I wish it would have gone that I don't feel like it ever did. I thought that they made Bruce Wayne a Batman like character way too soon. Like way too soon. I never did see the last season of it.
I didn't either. Again, I gave up on the last season. I would have rather them have completely left. And this is really hard to say because I don't know that I felt this way going into it, but it's seeing how they did it. I would have rather them left Batman out of it altogether and been just about the crime bosses of Gotham.
I liked the idea of having Bruce Wayne learning how to become Batman
Sure.
through watching his friend and hero Jim Gordon, watching learning from his butler Alfred, and learning about these people and watching the Gotham become more and more corrupt as he grows.
Yep. I think that would have been great.
And that idea of him getting to go, okay, I have got the means to do something about this. I need to start working towards this. And I felt like they were going that direction, but then they wanted to bring him into it. I'm like,
yeah, they wanted to give the kid a costume at like 15 years old or 12 years old. I'm like,
exactly. He should have been nothing but a supporting character that you see gaining all this throughout.
For sure. Oh, so, a lot like Smallville. I mean, somewhat like Smallville. Well, I mean, it's different when you actually have superpowers, but like the red, blue blur and all that kind of stuff, which was, that was always pretty terrible anyway, the red, blue blur. But, it didn't help that Chloe ended up in a sex ring organization. And, that was, it's got everything got a little weird. I bet you did. How much did it cost?
My life. No, I'm just kidding.
Sign it away in blood.
No,
Supergirl was good.
Yeah, I got an autograph with her and everything, but that was before she got arrested and whatnot. But and she was my favorite character on the show too.
Yeah, mine too.
I hated that. Sure. But yeah.
Supergirl was pretty good. I think when they started to go, once they started to build a universe, it's everything. The cost of building a universe can be pretty high.
That
like
reverse Flash reveal was amazing in the Flash. The actor, I can't remember his name, he did that so well.
Yep.
And I'm glad I'm partly glad that he was able to stay in the show because he was such a good actor.
I was glad that they were able to find a way in the multiverse or whatever to bring him back. Legends of Tomorrow had its moments of good storytelling in universe, like the fun that they had. It was kind of like, I don't know if you ever read the Exiles comic
from Marvel. A long time ago.
Yeah. I had a lot of fun with that. And that is what it reminded me of, is like the nobodies who there's nothing holding them there. Any one of them could die or whatever. So that was always good.
I lived in Gotham for 3 months.
Gotham. Cool.
The best episodes of the CW series was the Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover.
Yeah, they did some good stuff.
I've only ever seen clips.
That was fun because like you got to see a lot of cameos and nods to stuff that's happened,
I did see the Smallville cameo and I hated it.
It was like, I did too. I hated it in the same way that I hated the part in Superman 2 where Clark gives away his powers. Like I would have rather them have Tom Welling still have the strength, and he just decides not to be. I'd rather him just not decide to be Superman anymore. But yeah, it was pretty bad.
Also, the first 2 seasons of Superman and Lois were actually good. The fact that you didn't have to go through the origins. Lois already knows everything, and Lois and Superman are already married. Yeah, I've only ever seen the first season of this show. I'm not sure if I finished it or not, but I liked it.
I really enjoy that. So
I didn't enjoy the kids.
No, they were annoying. They're going to suffer the same problem. I do want to see the newest season. I don't even know if it started yet. I know they replaced one of the kids because he had some really
That said, really I hated him in Supergirl. I hated him as Superman in Supergirl.
Did you really?
I did. He felt almost like he couldn't be Superman. He had to be lower than Supergirl every time.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I get that.
And it just didn't feel right. Yeah. It just didn't. it didn't seem right. But when
Yeah.
he had his own show, they
Yep.
really upped it, and it felt good.
He did probably one of the
felt
best
right.
jobs. I mean, I love Henry Cavill, and I think his movies died because of really terrible writing. Because I think he would have been a fantastic Superman had he had the writing of Superman in his movies.
Oh,
But
Henry Cavill he was not given the right.
I think he
was Superman, and
is
they
perfect
botched
for
it.
Superman. He just had really shitty writing
Yeah,
for his
he was the
depressing
perfect Superman.
stories. But Tyler Hoechlin for is probably up there, pretty close to me with like Dean Cain as far as like television Superman characters, because I think he pulled off being Clark, the husband and dad, about as good as you could do and still be the crazy heroic Superman, as long as you get Supergirl out of the picture where he doesn't have to play second fiddle to Supergirl.
Yeah. George says they filmed Batwoman and Batman in Glasgow for 3 months, ended up walking past Gotham fire engines and street signs with shops front saying Gotham News. That's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
That's a show I never watched. Batwoman. I just never.
I watched the first episode, and I wish I could have gouged my eyes out. It was horrible.
No, she's not in jail for human trafficking. She's actually out because she took a plea deal. She was part of a sex cult or something like that,
which is just as weird. But no, not human trafficking.
She wasn't human trafficking. She was convinced. It was almost like a self-help seminar kind of thing that brought you into a sex cult kind of thing, and you kind of get into it. It's weird. But yeah, she was a part of that, and it was some shady things going down. She went to jail for a little while, but she pretty much gave them everything, I believe.
You probably won't see her visit the con scene. She won't be showing up at any like Smallville sighting at conventions. Probably not.
She's kind of ruined her career. Yes, Superman minus those kids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super Junior Miguel Landrip Bacon. Wow, what a name. He just says hi. You can't just say a word that's smaller than your name.
I know. You gotta give us a small thesis, Super Junior Miguel Landrip Bacon.
13th Print says that crisis scene where the Hoechlins,
the Tyler Hoechlin Superman, yeah.
Superman.
Yep.
Where Superman was fun to watch.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, I thought that was a cool cameo. Again, I haven't watched the whole series, but I did see that clip of Brandon Routh as Kingdom Come Superman.
Yeah, which is cool considering that Brandon Routh was in Legends of Tomorrow. So that had to be like a cool little.
But yeah. Did what's his name? The original Flash TV show guy who played the dad and he came back with Earth 2 Flash. Did he come back as regular Flash from the 90s?
I'm trying to think if we saw him in his 90s Flash costume or not. I can't remember. If not, it was a missed opportunity. It's been a long time since I watched it. Yeah, I don't know. I can't. Should have. I don't remember.
It's weird. You nailed it.
It is weird. Just Jeff said he did once and a couple times. All right. Yeah, I can only picture him in his.
Hi, George.
I can only picture him in his aluminum helmet, Earth 2 Flash look. I don't remember him in the. Oh wait, no, I do. I do remember him in the full Flash gear. Yeah, at some point he did come back a couple times.
Yeah, I'm talking about 90s Flash, not the.
Yeah, he did. He came back in the full mask, 90s Flash gear a couple times, not just the, World War II helmet or World War I helmet Flash. I'm pretty sure he did. I feel like I have a memory of that. Yeah, and a crisis event. Yeah, during the crisis he did.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Yeah.
Yep, I do remember that now. Oh, man, I gotta go too. It's almost supper time here.
Yeah, it's 6:09.
Sorry, I got in here late.
No, it's all good.
If I'd have been here on time, like I was so frustrated at the internet that it would have just been 30 minutes of me cussing at everything, and I wouldn't have liked anything. So, it gave me some time to chill. I appreciate the invite.
I just hadn't streamed in 2 months, and I had a free weekend for a change, and I just was like, you know what? I need to do a stream. I was going to do it yesterday, but we went out on the boat and kind of killed my day.
I need to get you on one of our streams, like an indie toy stream or something. I know I plan on doing it Tuesday with Inutabi, friend of mine. I'm going to do another, probably talking. I don't know what we're going to talk about. I don't have a subject this week, so it may.
I didn't really either. I just had this stuff that I bought and figured to talk about that. I didn't really have a specific topic. There's just a lot of things that's fun to talk about with friends and and people in the chat and friends in the chat.
I'm all for that. I love talking.
That's what hanging. That's the
bullshit.
topic is hanging out and talking with friends.
Yep.
That's the purpose of the show.
I am perfectly okay with that.
And I love coming on other streams. So send me an invite if I'm available. If I'm not, I'll let you know. Hey, I'll have to take a rain check. I know I try to do some Tuesdays. I'm not able to, but
1 or 2 a week. Like I try to do something indie news related, and then there's some bullshit stream.
Jeff's like,
I do hate toys.
Hates toys. Haven't you seen his
Toys
channel?
Toys suck. No, no one's seen my channel.
Yeah, I hate toys. I don't.
I prefer my toys. Never mind. This is going to go really bad, really quick.
But it's just fun to just hang out and I have more fun when I have guests on that I can talk with. But
it's so much easier, right?
Chat, as long as someone's in the
very
chat,
difficult just being the guy in front of the chat. Like big props to anyone who can do that well. But like just me and the chat, like it's just hard because even the little few second delay in the chat coming up makes the back and forth so much harder. It's tough.
Yeah, you're waiting for someone, especially when your channel's small as mine. You got 10 people in the chat and you're like, someone gonna say something.
Hey, don't feel bad. 10 people like man, like I struggle getting 20 people, 25 people in the chat sometimes, but people got things to do. The way I look at it, man, one, I just like talking about toys. I don't care how many people are there. I mean, I'd love like more people so I could talk to more people, but if I were standing in a room talking to 25 people, I'd be pretty thrilled that 25 people were listening to me. So
yeah, likewise. I'm not doing this to make money or anything like that. I just sometimes I want to be more than just the words in the chat. I want to have an inner exchange of words.
I can tell you when my channel was smaller, much smaller, I was like, I'm just going to talk to everybody. I want everyone just to talk about toys. And I would drop the StreamYard link into the chat and be like, come on, anybody. I want to talk to anybody. There comes a time when that's a shitty idea because once you get to a point where, and believe me, I'm not saying anything about how many subscribers, whatever, but there will be a time when people that you're not used to seeing show up and you're like, yep, that'll be the last fucking time I ever do that.
I got a funny story to tell you, but I'll tell you in the back room in a minute when I go off the air. But you got some things you're working on and you have your own channel and stuff. You want to take a moment and talk about that?
Oh yeah.
To the 6 people watching?
Always doing toy stuff. So mostly focusing on indie toys right now, like Kickstarters and things like that. things like Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, Brutal Realm Kickstarter, which looks freaking awesome. I love a good barbarian toys. But yeah, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Now, Quentin Bedwell and I are slowly but surely putting together a comic that could end up as a action figure line if it works out that way. But it's a not sci-fi. It's a fantasy Western sort of horror, set in the late 1800s, old American West. That's coming together. Yeah, he's doing a couple of. I think he's about a page of. So I've turned in 4 issues of script, including an issue 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, and he's working on drawing up issue 0 right now. It takes him about a week to do a page because
pretty quick.
Yeah, I mean that's considering he does. He's got a regular job that he's got to do as well. Life. So I mean, it's not going to be a quick process. So we're kind of juggling. Like, because the toy process can take 2 years, like to get everything.
Oh yeah.
In line. Like it can take a year, 2+ years to get molds made or whatever. So we're messing around right now. He's coming up with head sculpt ideas and what do we do with the figure? How do we get the figure? I've talked to Ace was in here earlier. He's offered some help as far as manufacturing goes. Once we get to that point, I don't know if you know who Luke Wakeford is. He's done a lot of stuff for the MCU, but he's also done rendering for Ramen. He did rendering for the Marshall and 3-0.
Okay.
He's done I think he did the render model for the Pandora sculpture that Bobby Valla showed off of being a possibility. The sculpture that he showed in his talk at
DFW.
DFW, yeah. But he's done, he helped create Thanos for the MCU, so he's done a lot of big stuff. He reached out and said he would be willing to do the rendering for the figures. So there's a lot of cool stuff happening, but it takes a long time. So, we started a Facebook page for the Book of Jacob Came, and it's what it's called. So it's coming. It's a lot of fun. I got to do some more writing. Quentin's doing all the heavy lifting, man. I'm telling you, the writing is a million times easier than the guy who has to put all that to the page, but he does such a good job at that. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I sent him a link to be on, but he said he got home from church and he was doing some stuff with the kids or whatnot. And
yeah, he's an awesome dude. He's funny. If you ever get a chance, if you haven't heard it, the next time you get him on anywhere, the first thing you ask him to do is his Stan Lee impression.
Oh, I hear Stan Lee all the time. Yeah,
it's so great.
I talked to him on
Messenger,
Facebook.
Yeah.
He'll send me messages.
His motivational Stan Lee is the best. It's so good.
Stan Lee here.
He's so good. So
does good.
What else? I did one.
Excelsior.
Oh, have you heard him do a Skeletor?
Yes, I have.
Okay. So I did. This is going to be really dumb and probably. Let me see if I can find it. I'm sure you can hear it. But so I went in. He did a little Skeletor for no reason at all, and I went in and edited it to some of the old cartoon footage. So this is Quentin's voice.
Okay.
Oh,
what? Really? You're going to do that now?
Fantastic Four's rate nullifier Professor Grayskull. Rules be contested, and you will go back to being just a little queer prince that you've always been.
The
mic was going in and out, but I kind of got the gist of it.
It's probably best that it did go in and out. But yeah, he does such a good Skeletor. It's ridiculous. Yeah, it's get him to do a Skeletor. I'd love to get him doing Skeletor and Stan Lee fighting each other. I think that'd be a great video.
That would be funny.
All right, I'm gonna run, get something to eat.
All right, hold on a second. I'll tell you the thing. I'm gonna sign out.
Oh
here.
yeah.
Well, everyone else, glad y'all could be here. I know there's 5 people left. Hopefully, if anyone watches this on the replay, that you enjoyed it. And I'll be on when I'm on. Otherwise, you'll see me in the chat. God bless everyone.
Thanks, everyone.